Happy day for poetry. I have loved looking at all your creative poems you guys have made. Some super writers we have, so that's awesome. Today's poem type is called a limerick. I actually really like this one because this is finally where we get to do some rhyming. I love poems that rhyme. I love books that rhyme. So I am super excited to see all the creative tools you use to make a poem that rhymes. So first what we're going to do is go through what a limerick is and the rules of limericks. There's a little video on YouTube. It's kind of goofy, but I think it does a really good job of explaining what a limerick is and the things that we need to take away from it. So we will watch this video together.
Special type of poem. Limericks are usually very silly poems that are fun to read and to write.
So this is your chance to be funny, okay? Make it goofy, make it silly. The funnier and goofier, the better.
Let's look at some other things that makes a limerick a limerick. A limerick is a type of poetry that always has 5 lines. So,
what do we know about Mrs. Ecker and her rule of everything? Number 5, right? 5 sentences, 5 lines. So 5 lines for this poem. Another reason why I like it so much.
Poem has more than 5 lines or less than 5 lines, you know it's not a limerick because a limerick always has 5 lines. All right, so let's review. Limericks. Limericks are a type of poetry. Limericks have 5 lines, and limericks are often silly.
We can do it. This will be fun.
That's not all, though. You see, limericks have a specific pattern. Just because a poem has 5 lines and sounds silly does not make it a limerick. Limericks have to follow a very special pattern. It's really awesome. Limericks have a rhyming pattern.
Love rhyming.
That's right, a rhyming pattern. Remember, words rhyme when they end with the same sound.
Rhyming is something you've done in kindergarten all the way up. Rhyming should be very, very simple. It doesn't matter if it's actually spelled the same at the end, just that it sounds the same, right? So they have the same sound at the end.
So let's look at this specific rhyming pattern that all limericks have. The first line, the second line, and the 5th line all rhyme. That means those lines end with the same sound. Then the 3rd and 4th lines rhyme with a different sound than the other lines. So the first line, second line, and 5th line all rhyme, and the 3rd line and the 4th line have their very own rhyme. So it's almost like a rhyme sandwich, you know?
Funny, right? Okay, so mostly what they're saying, the first and second line have to have the same sound at the end, okay? Then the 3rd and 4th rhyme, and then this final line at the end, make sure it has the same sound as the first 2. It's actually not as weird as it looks. Once you do it, it'll be easy.
Let's look at an example. Let's look at a very old limerick about a mouse. Here it is. You might recognize it. Hickory dickory dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1, and down he run, hickory dickory dock.
Let's notice this for a minute. The first line and the second line rhyme, dock and clock. 3rd and 4th rhyme, 1, run. And now look at that. Remember the 5th has to rhyme with the first 2. So that is a limerick.
Notice this follows the pattern of the limerick.
Fast forward and
the
see.
First, second, and 5th has 5.
Here we go again. There was an old man in a tree who was horribly bored by a bee. When they said, "Does it buzz?" he replied, "Yes, it does. It's a regular brute of a bee." Now look at tree and bee rhyme. Remember that fourth one. It's okay, they use the same word, right? It still rhymes, and then 3 and 4. So when we talk in the next time, they have this layout called AA, BB, A. So all the A's rhyme and all the B's rhyme. So that was just a little example of that. Now I have a silly little song that we're gonna watch, the Limerick song.
Hello, how are you? I'm Nick, here to teach you a fun little trick. To have a good time when writing a rhyme, try writing your own limerick. There are limericks of all different kinds, so how do you write one that shines? You'll see that it's cool if you follow the rule. A limerick is made of 5 lines, so listen close to this song. Lines 1, 2, and 5 are all long, and in poems of this sort, make lines 3 and 4 short, and I promise you'll never go wrong.
Look at that. 1, 1, and 5 rhyme. 1, 2, and 5. Middle 2. So rhyme, 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 rhyme. See that? These 2 rhyme with this one, and then those 2.
You need to be sure and contrive to rhyme lines 1, 2, and 5. Then do it once more with lines 3 and 4, and your limerick surely will thrive. So let these pointers take hold, and if you'll write as you were told, at the rainbow's end you'll find there, my friend, your own limerick pot of gold.
Okay, so just a thing to remember is that limericks have a rhyming pattern. A, A, B, B, A. So we're going to do a little practice together, and then as always, you get to write your own, and that is the best part. I can't wait to see your creativity. So as you can see with limericks, the first, the second line rhyme, and the last line rhymes with those 2. And then the middle, the third and fourth line rhyme. So the order is A, A, B, B, A. All right, now it's my turn to do a limerick. Remember the rules, 5 lines. A, B, B, A. This is just gonna help me remind me that the first 2 lines each rhyme along with the bottom, and then B needs to rhyme. So, and remember, it needs to be silly. So, I'm going to start with my first one. There once was a man named Bob. Okay, A needs to rhyme. Now I need to make sure this ends with an ob sound. There once was a man named Bob. He had the nickname Blob. Right, so am I good? Does A and A rhyme? Yes, and so I need to make sure my last one rhymes with an ob sound too, right? So now my B's, they get to do whatever they want, right? They also need to rhyme, but I don't need to have that ob sound. There once was a man named Bob. He had the nickname Blob. He lived in a shoe. So ooh sound, B, right, needs to rhyme with that one. It was the color blue, right? Shoe and blue rhyme. So I'm line A, line A, line B, line B. Now, does anyone remember what A needs to have? That ob sound. There once was a man named Bob. He had the nickname Blob. He lived in a shoe. It was the color blue. And he always was quite the slob. Kind of a goofy little poem, isn't it? So, A, B, B, A. There once was a man named Blob. He had the nickname Blob. He lived in a shoe and it was the color blue. And he was always quite the slob. So, my limerick, and if I'd like to name it, I'm just going to name it Bob the Slob. All right, let's try another one. Okay, time for another poem, a limerick. So remember the rhyming pattern, A, B, B, A. So my first 2 lines have to rhyme, my second 2 lines have to rhyme, and then my last one. So let's try one together. First one. Here we go. I once had a dog named Sue. Okay, so now my next line has to have that ooh sound. She really liked to moo. We have a dog who likes to moo. Even though Sue is U-E, they have the same sound, right? Sue, moo, they both rhyme. I once had a dog named Sue. She really liked to moo. Now I'm at B. These do not have to have the oo sound. Now with their own sound, okay? She had a short tail. So now this one has to have tail again, right? The ale sound. And liked to get the mail. I once had a dog named Sue. She really liked to moo. She had a short tail and liked to get the mail. Now remember, my last line has to have the what sound? The oo. Sue, moo. Now, what should I do? I don't know, kind of fun, right? So remember, these are supposed to be goofy. They're goofy, 5 lines, and now you really need to make sure we kind of incorporate some rhyming in there, okay? So next part of this video, we'll be doing your assignment. Good luck. All right, now for the best part. You guys get to make your own limerick. And as we have done all week, you are going to log into your Google Classroom. You are going to go to reading. You are going to go to classwork. After you go to classwork, you're going to pick limerick, and here it is. Your limerick poem assignment will open. Please put your name, who it is by right here. You get to pick the title, of course, because you are deciding what you are writing your poem about. And then I kind of laid it out for you here. You can change it as always for color, font, whatever, but this is just kind of a help so you know. A. All these 3 lines have to rhyme. So think when you're typing in purple, they all need to rhyme, and then B and B need to rhyme. So remember, first and second line rhyme together. Move on to 3 and 4, they rhyme together. And then again, your final line, this guy right here needs to rhyme with your first 2. Mrs. Zacher posted some examples down there just if you needed some help. So here is one. There once was a dog named Lucille who thought her stuffed animal was real. She wanted to play with all her toys all day. Oh, that got deleted. Until she made them her meal. So remember, the first 2 rhyme with the end. Here's another one. There once was a stinky blue-pink shoe. I wasn't sure what I should do, so I held it up and used it like a cup. Now I have made stinky au jus. Very creative. Here's another one down here. There was an old man named Heath who sat on a set false teeth. He yelled with a start, "Heaven, oh my heart, I've bitten myself underneath." That's kind of funny. So, as always, please type your name, your title, your poem. You can delete these if you'd like later so you can add pictures and make it as creative and beautiful as you would like. Please make sure after you have done your poem, after everything is done and spell checked, make sure nothing's underlined to fix in there. Let's make it sure it's nice and pretty. You may hit turn in up at the top. So as always, I look forward to reading your limericks. Always feel free to Google chat me, call with any questions.